This is Happiness Solved with America's happiness coach, Sandee Sgarlata.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today. I'm so happy you're here. Happiness Solved is the place where we explore everything you need to become the best possible version of you. This is Sandee Sgarlata, and today I've got some exciting news for our dedicated listeners. We've just launched our exclusive members-only portal. This is your ticket to a world of additional content designed to deepen your understanding and engagement with the Happiness Solved mission. To learn more about all of the exciting benefits, stay tuned until the end of the episode where I will explain in greater detail. For those interested now, head over to happinesssolved.supercast.com. Today is another amazing conversation, so let's get started. Nick Witherell, so excited to be talking with you today. This is going to be such a fun conversation, and I'm just beyond thrilled. How's it going?
It's great. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. I love talking to fellow athletes because, you know, it's just kind of like, I work with athletes as well as a mindset coach, or I call like peak performance coach. Mm-hmm. And it's like, the thing is like athletes, when you've got that grit and you develop that resilience to just keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing, they're the best leaders. They're the best leaders.
Yes.
And you're right there. Case in point, you were, let's see, you played college basketball.
Yep.
And you were actually recruited by Tony Bennett, who's one of the top basketball coaches right now.
I was Tony Bennett's first recruit. So at the end of my sophomore year of high school, his dad was coaching at Washington State University. His dad retired and Tony became head coach. So I committed to Washington State University for Tony after my sophomore year in the summer circuit of club basketball.
Okay.
So I was his first commitment, his first recruit. But during my junior and senior years of high school, aka his first 2 years of coaching Washington State, he took them from like bottom of the Pac-10 to a powerhouse, a Sweet 16 team. So I got a little bit over recruited. I was the same recruiting class as Klay Thompson.
Nice.
Same position. So now, so it was tough. But
okay, so from a mindset perspective, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about him. What do you think set him apart and how he was able to take a team from, as you said, more on the bottom level all the way up? What made the difference? Like, what in his coaching style or technique, what was his sweet sauce that helped propel that team up?
That's a great question. So there's a multitude of things. From a discipline standpoint, he was one of the most disciplined people in general I've ever been around. So there was this one drill we did every day called 3-on-3 closeout. You were basically left on an island to guard one-on-one versus the other guys at your position, but it was also team aspect mixed in. Anyways, he wouldn't let us move on to the next drill until he felt that was perfected every day.
Okay.
And it was a defensive drill, so it wasn't a very sexy drill, if you will. It was all pure defense. Some days we'd be doing that for an hour and a half, and we'd have a 2-hour practice. So the discipline to the defensive end was phenomenal. And I'd say the second part is that he just absolutely knew his style, and he objectively recruited rather than relying on recruiting services or this or that. He didn't care what your ranking was. He didn't care about the politics. He would watch recruits and say, I like that guy. Even though he's a 2-star recruit, I think he's going to be great. And then next thing you know, he recruits the guy ends up starting, ends up going playing pro overseas or in the NBA. And everyone's like, what? This guy was a nobody. But so and then from a strategy perspective and tactics on the floor, he had his ways and he stuck to it. So, and everyone bought, and then he recruited good kids. So everyone bought in. And
So we just had that happen recently. The first round pick for the NBA was I can't remember his name. I'm sure you know, he's from France.
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama.
Yes, but he was recruited from college. Like his college went overseas, found him, and brought him here. And he was the first round draft pick for the NBA. I mean, how amazing is that?
Yeah, no, it doesn't hurt to be 7'5" also.
Well, it doesn't hurt to be 7'5". You're right. It's just that I think it just seems like, when the colleges or high, when you're, whether you're looking for college recruits, professional recruits, what have you, I think that makes a big difference, is the actual coach is really looking at them, because coaches can see the potential in people that maybe the scouts may not. The scouts are going to know, yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
But they're looking at stats. They're looking at statistics. Okay, how many points do they get? What are their average points per game? And what are, all of those things. Whereas the coach is looking at talent and is like, oh yeah.
How are you going to fit into the system? And
yeah.
Like, how can I, are you going to be a good fit? How are we going to win with you? So yeah, no, it's pretty awesome.
That's really awesome. All right. Well, we may come back to sports in a minute, but you are the CEO and founder of the Binho Board.
Yep.
Binho Board. I'm saying it correctly, right? I know I practiced this a few times before I hit record.
Yeah. Binho, it's like the Portuguese pronunciation. Inho in Portuguese means like little. So like, a lot of famous European football players will add Inho to the end of their name and keep it through their professional career. And so basically little soccer. That's what our game is, or little sports, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. So it is the newest and most viral finger flicking tabletop game that you can bring anywhere. And you have expanded, and you have licensing deals with some pretty big names. And it's in Dick's Sporting Goods as well.
Yeah, so Dick's, we're starting a trial with them this summer. So it's not officially in stores yet. Okay. Dick's will be, so they're in the negotiation process. We're almost there. It's kind of been like, they've been really busy. We've been really busy. And so we're back re-engaged with them, talking about it. But we are signed, from a licensing aspect, we're signed with Liverpool and Arsenal out of the Premier League in the UK. The USL here in America, Club America from Mexico City, the biggest Mexican team. And then we have some other deals in the works. But the licensing deals are pricey, and they add a lot of SKUs to the plate. So we're taking it slow. We're really going back to the approach of focusing on our main product and the game and the competition.
Yeah. So, okay, first of all, because I have a couple of questions I want to ask about this game, but how did you create this game? Was this off season? I'm just going to go on the assumption that you're not doing drinking games while you're playing basketball in college, right? So when you're off season, you're playing around with your buddies, you come up with this game. Like, how did that unfold?
Yeah, so I created the game maybe 5 years out of college. So I had worked in some other jobs and to relative success, but didn't like any of them. And so through playing FIFA on Xbox, my friends and I got really into European soccer, and started following it like crazy, and saw like games that were made by hand and made out of wood from like Central and South America, where they were flicking a quarter into like a little kind of goal area. Generally same concept, but I was like, man, that'd be so cool if there was like a soccer version of this, where you could like try to score on a goal and player pieces, and you could shoot off the walls like futsal and whatnot. So I just went to Home Depot, because after going on Amazon and Google, I saw there was nothing available online, anything relative to what I had in mind. And so I was like, well, I guess I got to make this myself. So I went to Home Depot, Michael's, some other places, got all these raw materials, and with some turf and some wood, hammering nails, rubber bands, a couple marbles from a toy shop, I basically came up with the first model. And my friends and I started posting it on Instagram all the time. And so within those next couple months, I realized through back and forth conversations with a friend of mine who also was part of a retail startup that, we need to get this to we need one main model to sell that's actually manufactured, not just made by hand by me in my backyard. So,
Right.
yeah.
Wow. So how did your competitive nature, college basketball career, how did that help in influencing you to really want to push this forward? Because it's another competition. It's another way to compete, right?
Yes, I really like to think outside the box and like abstract, from an abstract perspective. And to me, I was competing against the idea of what I wanted for my life. And
Okay.
so I'd gone from I'd been in the mortgage industry, didn't like it. Then I went and did some sales at a tech company, didn't like it. Then I started my own stuff where I started a basketball training business, and it was just physically exhausting. I'm like, man, I really have to do this the rest of my life. My back will give out in a couple of years too. And then I started selling life insurance, which was great because you worked from home. It was relatively easy. Money was good, but I'm like, is this really my legacy? Like, I'm just gonna sell life insurance. Like, I don't have any passion for it. It's kind of
Right.
morbid, really. And so as soon as this idea came up, so basically I had eliminated through the competitive aspect of, I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm going to compete towards what I want. I'm going to at least allow for that idea to come to me through, knowing what I want, which maybe that's something, that stems from what I learned from Tony Bennett, just knowing what you want, or at least, working towards that and sticking to it and without budging. And so when this idea came around, people thought I was crazy for quitting life insurance the first day I conceived this. I didn't sell
Wow.
another deal after that. And because I didn't care if I was broke. I didn't care about any of that kind of stuff. I was just like, I want to do something I love, or I'll just go ahead and be homeless because I'm not working for anyone again. And I'm also not going to do something I don't love.
Well, and it's interesting that you said you got to know what you want, but sometimes to figure out what you want, you have to figure out what you don't want.
That's exactly. And as
You
a
need that
young,
contrast.
you need that contrast. And if I didn't at
Yeah.
least put myself out there and try random things, like I worked at a mortgage company, then, at Yelp, then started my own random businesses. If I didn't do those, I wouldn't have known, hey, basketball training sounded so awesome. Like, you make good money per hour, but you don't think about at that age, sometimes you're not seeing stuff that you don't know that it exists yet. Like, you don't know that
Right.
it was going to be so exhausting. I was like, this is awesome. Like, training 4 kids an hour, they're each, $120 an hour. This is awesome. But, then you start to realize. And yeah, so I'm glad I made it to here though. But yeah, but I knew exactly what I didn't want. And that was the hard part about it.
Of course. And it is. And you're still young. And here's the thing, life is so short, and you have to, it's that purpose and that passion. I mean, for selling life insurance can be a very lucrative, rewarding career for many, many people. And that's awesome, right? It just wasn't for you, and that's okay. And you recognize that. So why stay in the grind, right? And I think I'm hoping that, at least in the United States, I've seen a lot of it more worldwide than I have so much in the United States, just because I talk to so many people, that there is a shift taking place where people aren't buying into the conditions that are placed on us through society, right? Because like our parents, our grandparents know, if you go to college, because it was a privilege for some, like my mom and dad didn't go to college.
Yeah.
But, then you get your job and you grind and you put in your time, you put that time, you get that pension, you retire, and then you're 6 feet under. I mean, that's, and it's that whole grind and that conditioning that this is what you're supposed to do. But that's not always what's best for you as a human being. And, life is short. Why not go after it?
If that's what you want. Like you said,
Yeah.
I met in the life insurance industry, I met people that truly did absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And they came in excited. And, one of my mentors at one of the companies I work for, he just came in every day just so excited. He would just read life insurance books and tax books, and but he loved it. And so but yeah, I love that's exactly the way I think about things. It's just from a completely objective perspective. And it's difficult because some people allow the weight of society to impact their thought process and their
Right.
decision. But in my mind, I've really learned, especially through the last couple of years, that your gut feeling is often very much correct relative to yourself.
Hmm.
And obviously there's an importance to adapting to society, relatively speaking, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you know
just,
what? Now you've created this product, which gets into the next topic around this game. And that is talk about being happy, right? When you're playing this game, right?
yeah.
Any type of game,
Mm-hmm.
because it's one of those things that, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a drinking game kind of thing, right?
It
I'm
can
sure
be.
that it's very popular in colleges and things like that because, people will turn almost anything into a drinking game. But let's forget about that aspect of it, because what I want to just remind people of is that to sit down and play a game, whether it's a game like yours or you're playing Monopoly or tic-tac-toe with a 5-year-old or, whatever, you're using a different part of your brain, number one, but it's that joy that you get. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that innocent joy that we all maybe hopefully remember from when we were a kid and playing board games and things like that. And I mean, those are the simple things in life that people need to really start to wake up and say, you know what, let's take some time and play a game and have fun with it.
Yes, absolutely. And having fun is the key phrase I take from all of that, because whether you're working, no matter what, having fun along the journey is so vital to remember. And that's just our game is fun for literally everybody, because 5-year-olds, even 2-year-olds that can't even speak yet understand the concept of trying to score the ball into a goal area. But it's a great college drinking game. It's a great family game. It's great. We've sold to retirement homes. We've sold, to pretty much every demographic. Anyone with
Yeah.
a family.
Anybody with fingers can play.
Yeah. Yep. And it's a challenging game. People will say, "Oh, that looks so easy." It's like when people say that on, Instagram or whatever, I'm like, "All right, I'll play you and I'll beat you 7-0 for the first 10 times we play." But it also keeps people coming back because, it's not so easy to
Right.
score.
Right.
And but it's fun, a fun challenge, and it's just a good, innocent play. It can get crazy, but yeah, it's great to see people having just an awesome time and connecting off of a digital device.
Yeah. Well, because that's just it. And, there's so much talk these days, and they were talking about how we have somewhat of a loneliness epidemic going on right now in the United States. That's kind of lingering from COVID, and so many people working remotely and they're isolated and whatnot. And what better way to find connection with other people than to have a game?
Exactly. And I even accounted for that type of thinking in designing this game. Like, for instance, the turf slows the ball down, so that actually makes the game play faster, because when I shoot, the ball will stop faster, meaning you get to shoot faster, rather than if the ball was rolling on like a wood. Imagine how long it would take for that marble to stop rolling on wood compared to if it's rolling on a turf carpet
Right.
type of. And so basically it keeps that 2023 attention span happy, because our attention
Right.
shortening. And so that was a big part of the design process. But yeah, like the loneliness aspect, so is just something that we're trying to attack, and just to connect people, and because it's so easy to just to flick a ball, it lowers like people's guards and they're able to connect. And so we've seen so many different dynamics of people connecting, at different events we go and show up to, which is pretty awesome.
Well, and you know what? It's a great team building event or team building game for businesses. So anybody listening out there in leadership roles like this, that is like the perfect type of team building event that you can have with your teams. It's limitless, really.
It is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different like companies that we wholesale, because we do custom boards. We will wholesale them, 10 or 20 boards, and they have company tournaments
Yeah.
and company leagues.
Oh, I was thinking about that. I'm like, oh my God, leagues. Like, if,
Can you give me one? Sorry, something very random.
Okay.
Hey, John.
All right, we are back. Nick had a little bit of an emergency there with his dog he had to take care of, so his dog didn't run out the door. So I'm so grateful.
Yeah, crazy husky. She'll try to escape at any time she can get the chance. So
yeah, we don't want that for sure. Okay, so we were just talking about how certain companies are, because you can put their logo on it because you're customizing it. You can customize it for any fraternity or corporation or your own. You can create your own league.
yeah, so you can do any customization. Like you can put the logo at center field, choose the turf color, the line color, the band color, the entire product. Screws in and out. So you can customize player pieces, put new goals that we release on our website. So if you want the real netted goals or like chain link goals, different balls, basically you can customize everything on this little playing pitch. And so we have some pretty big partnerships that we're working on in addition to our licensed stuff, which we can't wait to share with everybody.
That is so exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, so we're going to talk about the entrepreneurial aspect. Before we hit record, I was telling you how I get a lot of business owners, and I love for the entrepreneurs that I talk with to give their advice because it's not easy. So what was the driving force for you? Like, we know it was your passion and your purpose, all of those things. However, when you're starting a company, it's so easy to just give up because it can take time, right? I also train people how to launch a podcast. Yeah. Most podcasters give up after the first 10 episodes because they don't get results and they're not looking at it like a business. The thing is like, you have to be in it for the long haul. So what advice can you give to entrepreneurs, somebody who's starting out that wants to follow their passion? What did you do to keep your eyes set on the golden nugget, if you will, at the end to keep you going?
I think, referencing earlier in the conversation, I think once I knew what I wanted out of a career in terms of like the parameters, that really helped clarify that I was doing the right thing. So, I had thought of all these different business ideas and none of them stuck, so I had started, different little businesses here and there, and they would fade out real quick. Right. And that's just, I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I was looking for. But once you know what you're looking for, it really helps you have that fire underneath you when you come up with that business idea that, that you're sticking. It helps you stick to an idea. Right. And so the grind doesn't really become a grind because it's exactly what you want. And it's for you. You're doing it for yourself. And when you're doing it for yourself, you don't really worry about the outside world and, any of that kind of stuff, because you're going to be happy doing it, whether you make an insane amount of money, an average amount, or not that much. You're doing it because you love it, and so it's going to bring you happiness. Yeah. But usually when you're at your happiest, that's when you have the most success. So if you want financial success, and happiness will help you get there at a higher probability than if you didn't. That's right. Yeah, so that helps with the grind. But everything turns, no matter what business it is, the more you grow, it pretty much all turns into the same thing. Like at a certain size, like in the beginning days, there wasn't much to do here at Binho, so we just get the little couple things we needed to get done, and then we would play Binho the rest of the day or hang out. And now it's like, now that we're a bigger company, it turns into all the headache work of, how do I get logged back into Facebook and get verified here, and task after task after task. Right. But at the end of the day, we were making games, and we make it fun no matter what. Awesome. Well, and that's really what it's all about at the end of the day. That's it. Right. All right. So where can people find your game, and do you have a website and where people can follow you as well? Yeah. So our website, binhoboard.com. So B as in boy, INHOBOARD.com. We do that'll have our entire full line collection of everything. We're also available in about 100 retail stores right now. across the country, which on the bottom of binhoboard.com, you can find in the store locator. We're also available on a couple online retailers as well in Canada and the States. So if you wanted to go another route, but we ship immediately from our website. So that's the best place.
Nice. Oh my gosh. I love what you're doing. Talk about not only just living the American dream, but just you're such a great example of somebody who you have an idea, you have a passion, you followed your gut and you went for it. And now you're doing it. And there's nothing better than I like to highlight on my podcast are success stories like yours. So awesome. I think my son, he responded, it's going to be maybe something for a birthday gift for him. He's got a birthday coming up. So I'll hop on your website and
Oh yeah. No.
and he can introduce it to the University of Louisville, right? When he goes back to
that'd be
college.
awesome. Oh yeah. No, they'll be having tournaments before you know it.
Exactly.
Anyone that likes sports will absolutely love this game because it's designed by a non-soccer player. I'm just an overall sports fan.
Well, that's how my son is. My son loves FIFA and he didn't like soccer. Okay, I'm going to tell a quick story about my son. I told you I wasn't going to spend my time talking about him, but I will. When he played soccer, it was the only sport you can put a 3-year-old in at the time. I don't know that there's many sports that takes 3-year-olds, but soccer does. And he was running after the ball and somebody was running behind him and he ran off the field crying, thinking that this kid was chasing him.
Oh my, that's hilarious. What goes through
that stopped his soccer career, but he loves playing FIFA. And so, yeah, and he's a huge soccer fan. So
back into it. However many 20 years later, probably.
Right, exactly. That's right.
This is what will get you. Once you, as an American, once you understand the game, you're like, wait a second, this is amazing.
Well, Ted Lasso kind of helped a lot too.
Yeah, there's a great bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I was obsessed. I mean, and I've never watched a soccer match in my life, so, and I'm obsessed. I love it.
Next step. Then it takes you to the next step. It's like the gateway. Yeah.
That's right. It's awesome. All right, Nick, thank you so much. And I wish you nothing but success moving forward. It's awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. All right.
Thank you for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. And as promised, I'd like to give you more details of what you can expect as a member of the Happiness Solved exclusive community. First, you'll have access to a treasure trove of extra podcast episodes. These episodes dive deeper into the topics we discuss, featuring additional expert interviews only found here. But that's not all. As a member, you'll also get access to a series of mindset training sessions. These recordings are tailored to help you understand the how and why your mindset is the most important asset you have, empowering you to achieve your personal and professional goals. And for those of you looking to find a moment of peace in your busy lives, we've got something special. Exclusive guided meditations. These sessions are crafted to help you relax, refocus, and recharge. Whether you're a meditation guru or just starting out, there's something here for everyone. Becoming a member is more than just accessing extra content. It's about joining a community of like-minded individuals, all on a journey to live life to its fullest and become the best possible version of you. So how can you join? It's simple. Go to happinesssolved.supercast.com and sign up. Don't miss out on this opportunity to deepen your journey with us. Again, that's happinesssolved.supercast.com, and it will also be in the show notes. I am so grateful you're a part of our Happiness Solved family, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your continued support. Again, I am so grateful for you, and I hope that you and your family are healthy and safe, and that your lives are filled with peace, joy, and happiness. Take care, everyone.